So, hello there, everybody. We're gonna go to hell today. And return and do it again and again and again. So, things like these happen. We're gonna play some Hell Clock on other news. So, does everything technic as it should? To technically, yes. So, be right there in a hot minute. Last few clicks to do that we can't do before the stream starts. I don't know why it is like that, dear YouTube. It's like that. Just. Anyways. So, my dear friends, Hell Clock. We're gonna be going just for a run, and I'm going to explain what we're doing while we're running. Oh. That dude. So, what we got here in the first place is a ARPG in the classic sense. I think I can go a little bit louder than that. There, I tuned down the volume too much, I think. That should be probably okay. So, the skills that you see down there I can configure before each run, and then I get my upgrades during each run, and when I die, I'll have to start again and get to buy some meta progression things. No, I'm not happy with the sound yet. The effects can be a little bit louder. Let me know if anything's too loud now. There we go. So, we are racing here against the clock. We are gathering temporary buffs that are only effective for the run, and with the meta currency that we gather, we are allowed to buy ourselves permanent upgrades. The deeper we get into the story, the more options we receive, basically. There we go. Oh, that guy. So the purplish thing here is a slow field that I have implemented because, you know, doing the whirlwind thing leaves you rather vulnerable, and therefore this is quite good. By the way, when this timer is off, I have to restart the run. Too much now. Promise, I'm done in a hot second. There we go. Okay. So these levels I'm already way past that, basically. But we have to clear them every time we get into the new runs. I have already unlocked a feature that allows me to skip certain levels, though, so... Blessing, critical chance, please. So my build interacts with critical hits. And every couple of floors, you have a boss fight. There we go. There's no different character classes in this game. You play the same guy that you can skill differently in each run. There's also gear called relics that you collect between the runs, which allows you to modify your skills, so it really has a lot of difference. And here's our first boss. Could you imagine that this joke of a boss has once killed me? He did. I can hardly imagine, but he did. So, multi-shot. Projectile amount. It's pretty strong. Yeah, let's take that. So every skill can only have one epic upgrade. That was the orange color around this one. But I deemed this useful enough. Here. That's what I've been talking about. So, critical chance plus 20%. But I will not skip any floors right now. I want to juice up my character a little bit more. and farm currency. Because this is one of the things, this is a classic roguelite experience where you get a lot stronger every time you die. Yeah. You can hear by the tone of my voice how much of a fan I am of that mechanic, but it is what it is, and I gotta say, I've spent something like 2 hours with Health Clock already before I started this stream, and, well, I wasn't that torn, in my opinion, since a while. That's something I gotta say. For one, I really like how this game plays out. It's also set up in a historical area, or a historical setting. Set up in a setting is not the best sentence, but I'm not writing a book here. So let's take the shortcut. And I really do like the early 20th century vibe that this game exudes. This is something quite rare for this genre, and it has these Lovecraftian vibes, and well, I had no clue who the Canudos were before I played this game, so it even serves a bit of an educational job. So all in all, yeah, there's some really good things, but on the other hand, this game really didn't respect my time so far at all, which really bothered me a ton. In the means that at some point you just don't scale hard enough anymore, and then you need to restart the run. Because you need to come back stronger, because you can't do it without that. And, just don't like that too much. This is one of the things I really have been struggling with when I was trying out the game. Critical chance plus 30%. Okay. That's a lot. Should be shredding this game. Yeah. The boss fights hardly matter at this point. So, these items here, the relics that we get here, are permanent items. So, let's see. I have that one already. So you can own them several times. Interesting. I had no clue. I thought you'd just draw them once. But obviously you can get them several times with different stats, I bet. Okay. Shadow Dash has no cooldown. Interesting. Okay. Bigger dash distance, I'm all in. This is very, very useful. Because when you need to dash, you want to go bar, don't you? Okay. There we go. Classic whirlwind build. If you have been with Path of Exile, you know what I'm talking about. There we go. Okay. So this is the second level. Games are getting a lot more serious from here on out. Depending on your power and progression level, that is, of course. Oh, well, damage, why not? So, what can we buy here? Blessing of Precision. Ooh, I wish I had that one. I'm gonna be taking just some flat old life. Never a bad thing. Never, never a bad thing at all. Okay. Let's see. And another thing that I have been struggling with this game, the balancing is quite all over the place. It's like most of the time you're just breezing through it, and then all of a sudden you get one shot and you have to think about why. And next time be much more careful about that one specific damage source. It's a little bit weird, but I am strangely entertained by the ways and means how you can tweak your character. But I don't know yet how long the fun will last. But that's why we're here, friends. I'm glad you're around with me. So, life regeneration. This is one of the most desirable traits ever. Now I regenerate 3% of my life per second, and it's such a huge thing. There we go. As you see there, these trinket items, they are temporary for this run. I don't get to keep them. You just upgrade them while you run. If you get a worse quality one, you transform it into money, which is quite nice. Oh yeah. Bigger death globe. So here goes the next boss. And every one of these was once basically unkillable for me when I entered the arena. You have to meta progress through these. And this is, yeah, well, it's not my favorite way of playing a game, but, well, whatever. Try to get over this bias of mine as well as I can. Because that's just how roguelites work. Alrighty, there we are. We got it down. But this one was way more of a struggle than the previous one. Okay. So these big guys, they totally killed me the first time I met them. As you see there, did you see my health glow disappear just all of a sudden? These guys are awesome. They're really good at making your health bar disappear. Burst of some enemies in this game is beyond insane. But for me, as somebody who has played old school Diablo 1, I've been through worse. If you've been playing Diablo 1, and I mean playing like finishing it even on hell difficulty, you know how unfair these games were. Compared to that, it's a walk in the park. Okay. My build here tries to lure the enemies into a sphere that slows them, their attacks and their projectiles, this stuff, and then I whirlwind them there to death. Works, I guess, not that well in the long run, because melee builds are most of the time rather cursed in games like these, but I like to be cursed, and that is why I like to play melee builds. I'm just wired like that. Anyways. I really end up playing lots of melee builds in ARPGs, and I don't even know what's wrong with me. But, yeah. I like to make things, I like to try to make things work, you see. Well, that scavenger did flee quickly. Loot goblins. AKA scavengers. I went here because of the loot. There was one yellow boss and the chest there, and that is enough reason for me to go this way. Kadros, hey there. It's a mixture between an ARPG and a roguelite. You reset your character each run, but you get to keep permanent skill points and items that modify your character. It's sort of a weird mixture at first, but I gotta say, together with the cool cultural impact that this game has, I really enjoy the setting. I seriously do. It's a really a breath of fresh air. I mean, war crimes and ARPGs go surprisingly well together. Yeah, because, you know, the whole ARPG scene, or the whole ARPG setting, lives entirely off of cruelty and horrible environments, and yeah, warfare. Boom, perfect. You don't even need fantasy. So there goes. Mellow 232. Pleasure to be of service. Against the Storm is a great game, but it's really hard to get into. I've been there too, and I'm really happy that I was able to help you. Cheers. So, hello, Kadros. Nice to see you, mate. So, there we go. Let's see how well this will go for me. But, yeah. Health Clock also has me torn because it doesn't respect my time. And this is nowadays one of my biggest gripes with many games, you know? It might be because I'm now 40 and I'm not I don't have that amount of time, but in all honesty, most of us gamers are, or should be, having a job to earn money, and, you know, it might be nice to have a game you can be married to, but not all of us want to be married to a game. Some of us are just tourists. I stopped this metaphor before it's really getting weird, but... but, yeah. I guess we all know what I'm trying to say. So, Health Clock has the problem that it shuts you down at some point and forces you to restart your run because you're just too weak. And this doesn't sit too well with me. Because you have to unlock the ability to get shortcuts. You just basically get kicked out of the game just because you're getting stat checked. And I don't know. I've played, for example, the Slawmancer, and I feel like the Slawmancer did a way better job in transporting the story by just saying, here's a level, complete it, and then the story goes on. You're too weak to complete the level, toodles. Go farming until you're strong enough to complete the next story level. This felt to me much more respectful to me and my time than the game just saying, well, go die and restart, man. It's time to do so. But that's me. But I feel like I do have a point here. Hey, Poet, welcome. Emiko, I dare. But on the other hand, I gotta say, Health Clock is really a great game. It is packed with lots of fun things, and I personally love the dark fantasy setting of it. I gotta say, you can sell me on the most dastardly things if it has a good setting and some sort of a gameplay that is enjoyable. And I'm gonna play it. You know, half of what bound me to Path of Exile was, in all honesty, the amazing storytelling they did with Rayclast. The story behind Rayclast was one of the best dark fantasy stories that I've ever experienced in a game, and I wouldn't want to miss a second of the time that I spent with PoE 1, because the story was just so amazing. Can't digest PoE 2 at the very moment, because it's just acting like a diva that needs to be respected by the players for fun. But yeah, I guess PoE 2 will also emancipate eventually and grow out of this phase. I hope so, at least. It would be a shame for what I've been trying out so far in the early access. It has the atmosphere, but it is standing in its own way currently, and we all know it. But PoE 1 was the same when it was developed, so I'm not too worried. Ooh. There we go. Grinding Gear games developers love to limit test how far they can take their own agenda before we push back. But I gotta say, I like their style insofar as it results in games that are truly unique and are a mixture between the own vision of the developers and our own necessity of how to play it, which is a great thing and a rare thing. So Grinding Gear games, they're really a double-edged sword. It's a personal take on that. powder bag. Molten relic. I don't need any of yours. Oh, well, whatever. You can... We can cycle them into currency, the ones that we don't need, so it ain't bad. The problem with PoE 2 is the lack of Chris. I don't even know who was the driving factor behind that. I also don't know if they can unshitify PoE 2, or if that case is just a done deal. It could be. I mean, I gotta say that there's been a lot of things that are just speaking against it, but we'll see that. I am very, very curious to see, but my point remains, PoE 1 in the beta was a pretty crappy game. I've been there. I know what I've been talking about because I was there spamming /desync or /unsync into my chat when the game decided to just show me a different picture on my screen than the server did. It was horrible, but I still played it because it was a great ARPG at that time. But I don't know. I don't have the same feeling with PoE 2. But we'll see where that takes us. So, did Chris Wilson entirely leave Grinding Gear Games, or is he just not involved into PoE 2? I wasn't paying attention to these things. Since I seem to have knowing people here, I might as well ask them. So... So, what do we have here? A Bridge-Snake idea and Paint Factory. Yeah, that's well put. There's also capitalism and not only game development behind it. But at the same end, I gotta say, take a look at stuff like Deep Rock Galactic. There is a way. There is a middle ground between shitty capitalism and game developing and fun for us players. It exists. It doesn't come for free. You need to work hard for it to make it happen, but it's there. It's not just a fantasy. But I feel like many developers lack the conviction to get it done eventually, even if it is a hard way of getting there. Maybe I'm also just a judgmental, unknowing Dunning-Kruger person here at this end. Hard to tell. But I at least try to be honest to myself. Interesting. Do you know which games Wilson was involved after leaving GGG? I would be really interested. That would explain the lack of quality that I've been feeling the last couple of years. All right, this run is getting much farther than the previous one, but time is running out. You see, this is another one of these weird mechanics the game puts onto you. It forces me to stop my run because I'm not killing fast enough anymore. I don't know. It is something where I say, yes, you can make it work like that, but is it fun to make it work like that? I think it would be really cool if we'd had time drops. If monsters could drop time, that would be amazing. I feel like that would already really spice up the gameplay a lot. And many games that work with time pressure like this have mechanics like these. I feel like Hellflock is almost there to be a really, really great game. It just needs a little bit of fine-tuning and a little bit of nudging. Light pattern. Thank you. I'll check them out. Lovely to get some knowledge here. You guys are great. Just want to let you know. While I'm trying to not die here. A wraith! It's spoopy time! Kill this! So here you see I'm not really dealing enough damage anymore to the boss. This is borderline to you need to reset. I find that really a weird way of balancing the game. But at the same time, I'm enjoying what I'm doing here enough to cope with this weirdness. And that is always the interesting point. When I'm like okay with things that I actually find annoying, because the rest of the package is so much fun. That's really where games get exciting. I'm going to show you when we end this run the aspects that got me so hooked a little bit more in up close. Yeah, looks like I'm going to be able to face tank the buddy here, sorta. Don't feel like I'm dealing enough damage though. So after this boy here, I bet that we're going to die of natural causes. Anyways, if I am able to kill him anyways. Just dying here because of his copies here. Maybe I'm also not taking it serious enough anymore. Happening when bosses take so long. And you get the feeling that you ought to reset anyways. But I think I'm gonna get your soul stones. Oh, they don't. There is nothing from light pattern yet. Interesting. Thank you, poet. So. So, let's see how fast I'll die. Whoa. It had soul stones for me. Oh, the nest to spawn these bad boys, I see. Suddenly you die. But that's fine. So these relics, these are sort of like permanent loot that I can equip. And the soul stones, they are like permanent XP that I gain, which I can now invest into the city. After a tormentingly long loading screen. Don't ask me why. This game has insane loading screens between the runs. The interesting part here is that after this loading screen, when I do enter the next dungeon instance, it does immediately pop up. But until then... yeah. See ya, poet. Have a good one until then. This is kind of like weirding me out quite a lot. The loading screens in between are quite annoying. What I personally think is Hellclock does feel like a really promising early access, but not so much as a finished product. I don't mean that in a negative way, because the game is obviously finished and all, but it feels as if there are a lot of little things that will be polished. I mean, in the announcement of the developers, they have said that there will be a crafting system implemented in September, I think. So, in other words, there's even this is, to me, a very clear sign that the game is not finished yet. So, I find that oddly weird. Anyways, so here's my relic thing. This is my permanent buff. So, we have here the Tempest item, which makes my swirly thing, the whirlwind skill, in PoE terms. It does enhance it. It gives me electric strike things, and we convert movement speed into damage, which is really cool. And we have the Banner of Faith, which gives me a life leech ability out of my double knives. And all of these orange items, they do convert your skills in one way or another, which is really cool. Speaking about skills, here's our skill book. Currently, I don't have information about what's later down the line. And here's our skill board. So this is one skill board. There's more of them. What bothered me a ton? Soulstone gain. Relic size upgrade. Okay, that is something I can see. Look over to health clock timer. Health clock timer. You know, whenever I see systems like these, it really bothers me. Because having to spend skill points to gain skill points faster is one of the most obnoxious mechanics that I know of. You know, it is really antithetical to gameplay, in my opinion. Because to be efficient, I need to take these first. If I don't, I will be slower. Ugh, I don't like that. I want to spend my skill points on exciting things, like Arcane Conviction, for example, which transforms a portion of my mana spent into a shield. That's the stuff that I want to spend my skill points on, not on things, like I said before, that disrespect my time, like having to spend my hard-earned skill points on earning faster skill points. Ugh. Sorry, rant over, but I really dislike mechanics like these. This is just something that really pains me whenever I encounter it. Similicious, hi there. Hey, Yoren. Yeah, well, it gives us time to read the chat. That's very true. But despite all my my ranting and my grievances that I've been pointing out here, I still find that Hellclock does take a really exciting direction all in all, because the game has that thing going on which wants to, which makes me to want to know how it goes on, what happens later, what kind of mechanics will I unlock still, what skills do I have, what relics will I find to make my skills even different, what kind of builds will I try out. All of these things sum up to some really exciting overall experience, and that is something that either you have it or you don't. You know? Games either have this wow effect, I want to play this, or they don't. This is something that I realized after really many years of playing games, that sometimes it's either there or it isn't. So, and I gotta say, Hellclock has that certain satisfying feeling while playing it, but I gotta see how they work with it in the long run. But I'm very grateful that that I got the key to the game. The developers sent me a mail and all. Very nice, polite people, and that's something that I always love if I just get a chance to do my thing. Jeez, the shortcuts everywhere. I don't want a shortcut right now, because I want to get a little bit more skill points and gold. I want this scavenger. Scavengers not only drop a lot of gold, they also drop soul stones. And soul stones are very important. They are basically the most important resource at this point for me. More damage is always good. Another thing that I really wish that it would be working a little bit different is the level design in story mode. It would be really amazing if we just had procedurally generated levels here. It bothers me so much that how much I know the corridors already, and I just started this game today. Don't know. If we are forced through so much repetition, it would be really nice. Yeah, AoE is great for this one on the epic slot. It would be really nice if we'd at least be rewarded with different experiences. Think Dead Cells. I think Dead Cells was one of the games that really did it in a great way. That you technically played always the same, but practically there were so many different turns to take, so many different things to achieve, so many different iterations of the same level that, yeah, I didn't feel bored a single moment. And here we have the exact opposite. Due to the fact that the levels are always exactly the same, the only thing that is differing is where the loot is placed. So for example, this chest here is sometimes there, sometimes not. Yeah. But it's really, really all boiling down to how... how does the game go into the later stages? That is really one thing. And yeah, it's holding me back from getting there. Actively. By design. Is it a roguelike? A roguelite, Joran. Yeah, it's very similar to Torchlight, that's true. Idle games, exactly, Emiko, and I'm very happy to see that you are a man of culture too. Idle games are wonderful, incremental especially. But jokes aside, I really feel like this game does only need a few tweaks to be really amazing. So for example, what I felt like would be really a good change with all the extra relics that we find, you know, these items here, if they would all give a incremental bonus, that would be amazing. If, you know, every gray copy of one item that you already got would give you maybe not gold or less gold, but stats. Permanently increasing stats. Oh, that would be so satisfying to find these things. I mean, I don't mind the current way of things where we transform the duplicates into money. That is also a way of doing it, but stats are more satisfying. Humans love numbers go up. It is what it is. That's how the entire incremental games thing works. So... Alright. This is a really, really bad selection. I don't want to skill these. Any of them. Yeah, slow buff intensity is good. Okay. Tons of critical chance, always good. I should spend some of my soul stones next time. Haven't spent them in a while. But mostly because I'm not sure if I really want to upgrade my whirlwind build more, or if I don't want to fall back into something else. Because I don't think that this build has that much of a future. Who knows? Auto loot is really a nice feature too in Miko. I really agree with you there. Yeah, well, Diablo 1, man. Diablo 1. Back when things had no auto loot and you had to click everything. Also no loot filters. Diablo 2 was even worse. Diablo 2 online back in the day, the best internet connection does loot. The rest does not. The end. Okay. But one thing that really struck my mind with Health Clock was that it has an excellent ratio between price and what you get for your money. You know, this thing is just 20 bucks. And considering all that, I'm a nitpicky, nagging little person here. I don't want to say Karen because that's misogynistic. We need a male version of Karen. Definitely. So help me find the male Karen, because I definitely am one at times. At least when it comes down to gaming. Woo! And AoE effects could be accentuated a little bit better. This guy has an AoE effect which I constantly don't notice killing me. You know, the little feces cloud on the ground. I don't notice it around me, and then I die quite quickly. And if my character is dying from the stink, I should be able to see that stink better too. But that's such little things. There we go. I don't like this boss too much. It's one of my least favorites so far. Because the stink clouds are nigh invisible. Also, really cool feature is that all excessive healing pots are automatically transformed into healing. So if I find a potion, it automatically gets transformed there into healing. Ken. Pedantic icon. Yorin is long enough with me to know. Kelvin. Arrow card. Kelvin is pretty cool. Kelvin is not bad. I like Kelvin. Because, completely unironically, I hate all the misogyny that is just cemented into our society. We should be celebrating way more both misandry and misogyny. Equal rights for everybody, you know. Fun for everybody. Make fun of everybody. But none specifically. And then it's fair, you know. Although there are a few jokes that just don't work anymore. Sometimes I'm quite shocked about things that were okay to say when I was a child. I'm looking back at these times, but at the same time I feel like it was already crappy to do these things back then. People just didn't give a fuck about it. Seriously. It was already... Like, I find it funny to notice that people were kind of like, sort of aware of what they were doing, but at the same time they were like, well, it's okay to do it anyways. Kevin. Asanda, hi there. Yeah, Kevin and Karen. Oh, come on, guys, stop drilling. So... Grim Dawn. Grim Dawn did loot the money, but it didn't loot items, did it? Yeah, but either way, I gotta say, for 20 bucks, Health Clock does really provide. It could be a little bit snappier in terms of progression and not holding me back that much, but, yeah. That's mostly me. So far, I'm only trying out one way of playing my character, and that's already really a fun way. Yeah, I hope the neighbors won't be doing that now for the remainder of the stream. I hope it doesn't get transported too much into the mic, but I'm afraid it does. Mittermeier did definitely brand Kevin into an idiot. He was very, very much involved into that, yeah. Carol, definitely more Age of Wonders 4 videos once the new DLC hits town. I am just waiting for it. Chocolate cigarettes in the 90s. That is such an excellent... It's such an excellent example. Oh yeah. There are not really different classes, but you can skill your character entirely different. For example, currently I would have access to a mage sort of build. I could entirely wire this guy up as a mage, or I have a marksman assortment of skills right now that I also could use, or this melee kind of thing that you see here right now. The deeper we get in the story, the more different skill trees we unlock. So there's I don't know what the other skills are yet, but yeah, you can skill your character as you want to. And the coolest part about it is the skill power is depending on the relics that you equip. So changing your specialization is actually in this game quite easily done. You just need the items and the soul stones to invest. But it's not as if you invest points into a skill board and after that suddenly you are bound to be playing mage for the rest of this character. This is not how this game works. Technically, with just a little bit of investment of resources, you can change your build as often as you want to. Respecing isn't hard either, so yeah. There's a lot of good things in this game. Even if you see me here nagging a lot, but that's only because I want to have a want to give the developers also a honest feedback, you see. Because judging from what I've seen in the communication towards the community, these guys are really interested in making the game better, which is something I deeply value. So... yeah, my pleasure, Miko. My pleasure. That's exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing here. So, there we go. My cat is horribly distracting me. She's hungry and she's walking at my legs, bumping me with her head. Feed me, human! Just what you need when you're doing a boss fight. So, for some reason, here you see the difference. This is, the previous boss was way more of a threat compared to this one. I find that somewhat odd. That's one less. I haven't played Raven's Watch. I wanted to, but I haven't had a key for it, so I can't tell. Spin to win, yeah. Yeah, skill to cooldown is not so much of a thing here. Double knives, chance to bleed on hit, that's really good. I don't know, I feel like I probably play a horrible skill here, but, you know, I played a lot of Garen when I was playing League of Legends. I always resort to Whirlwind when I play PoE. I don't know. I just like to spin, I guess. You know, some people just like to see the world spin. Sorry. Sometimes it gets me. There we go. feel like the lava area, we are also slowly getting under control here. I feel like my damage could be higher, though. I guess the bleeding relic will do some. So I really hope that skill speed for the whirlwind translates into more hits per second. But judging from what I heard, I would say yes. The sound of the hits sounds a little bit quicker after the upgrade. There we go. The shield generated from spending mana is pretty good. Yeah, life wreck. Yes, please. Life regeneration is always such a nice mid-combat shield. Ow! And that is why I don't think that this build has really much future in higher difficulties. It's just good at winning when you're already winning. It's just basically a win harder thing. But on the other hand, I really like it. So I keep playing it, even if it is a bad thing. Because I just can't live with the imagination of just dropping huge builds on my enemies. Ooh. What a nice reward for this optional stroll. So, Titan Quest 2, yeah, I bought it, I tried it, then I saw that people were saying that it's only 6 hours of content in it, and then I was like, okay, I'll be coming back later, because I think you guys are doing a great job already. Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, I think that Titan Quest 2 is one of the hottest contenders on the ARPG market that is currently around. It's only held back by having not enough content right now, and it's really the only reason why I'm not playing it more and featuring it more, because it's just, I don't like it. I have to relearn things often enough already in my line of work, and I'll come back when it's done. Yeah. I bought it and I kept it because of the initial discount that they put up there, because I felt like that's an okay discount that I want to sit on. But I totally was considering to refund it and buy it later. Yes. And I gotta say, if I wasn't a content creator that is going to feature this game eventually anyways, I guess I would have refunded. Because there's just not enough content right now in there. So this is a bad situation. I really should be avoiding that this guy is shotgunning me like that in the corner. This is his power scenario, basically, when he's with his back to a wall, where he can hit me with many projectiles at once. That's the best case scenario for this guy's skill set. So I need to deny him that as good as I can. There we go. As long as I can circle around him, he's somehow having a very much harder time hitting me with that one. So... Yeah, I totally feel as if I am lacking damage on this guy. But since the rewards are quite tasty for killing a boss, I don't want to skip out on this one here right now. And here's the thing, because I had to spend last time all my skill points for more soul stones, so I get more skill points faster, I wasn't able to invest into more power, so this fight is now basically the same as last run. And that bothers me quite a lot, in all honesty. This is unnecessary, especially, in my opinion. So here we are going now to press finish run. Because last time I already learned that I don't make it further than that. So, yeah. Stephen Autumn, my dear. Oh, oh. I just didn't really connect with Last Epoch yet. I don't know if it's me. I guess it's been me. Rimworld Odyssey is amazing. I'll be streaming some Rimworld probably later tonight as well. I got a really good thing going on right now, and yeah. So here's the big loading screen bonanza again. Thing about Last Epoch was mainly that I didn't see that much of a option to monetize it, because, you know, as a content creator, I do spend like 50 to 60% of my daytime with work, and a game like Last Epoch, well, it does eat a lot of time, right? So, yeah, it's really hard to get that under the hood with what I'm doing apart from that. And since I'm somewhat unwilling to turn myself into a full-on ARPG creator, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I didn't go too deep with Last Epoch in the first place. So, Bloody Dawn, hell yeah. Let's toss out this small relic of souls for that. And Scout's Medal, yes, yes. I will toss out that one because fire damage is really not an integral part of my build here so far. And Chris gets driving me nuts. And yeah. Just like I thought. No cat. Shoo shoo. There is no food yet here. Deal with it. So, gold gain versus mana on kill. Definitely gonna go with the mana on kill variant. So it's unique, so we can only equip it once. I figured as much, but I wanted to try it. Let's take life on kill. Life on kill is always a nice thing to have. Yeah, it somehow didn't click with me with Last Epoch. I don't know why. I was kind of sad with it, actually. If you combine the Spin Twin with Holy Rosary... I don't have that yet, I guess. I know that I can't sell the relics at Paint Factory. The electricity one I have already equipped. That was that one. Rosary, Rosary... Which one was I overlooking? Was I overlooking something? Whatever. You guys are 5 steps ahead of me, and that's great. But I don't want to get distracted by that. Forgive me, please, kindly. So, let's see. Down here is going to be the next size upgrade, and down there, but that's terribly far away. Anyways, let's see. Second wind, is that something that I want to have? I would love to have the expansion on my grid next. As quick as I can, at least. So let's make that at least. Experience gain is also pretty powerful. But I want that arcane conviction more. Okay, one more time. Ah, not being slowed anymore here is so useful. Yeah, faster cooldown on dashes is pretty cool. Feels like a completely different character already. Yeah, I feel also like that, Sander. I feel really like PoE 2 is a completely different game. Hey, Stephen Autumn, thanks. Be my guest. It might be just that I am not picking up as quick as you explain. That is sometimes like that while I'm streaming. My brain is working much slower than when I'm not, because, you know, obvious reasons. The new relics that we got for the whirlwind skill are amazing. We're breezing through it here. Oh yeah, heavy shot plus 40%. You know, that few times when I really need a ranged attack, it's quite useful. Although I think I will change this build up in the long run. The shot skill is just not really smart anymore. What really stung me back when I was following that was the fact that Path of Exile 1 is now not being supported as much as they promised, which is really something that stinks in my book. Because, you know, it's one thing to just follow the development of your sequel. That's okay, but don't mess around with the people and tell them something that you don't do. That's really, really quite horrible. Because I don't know, was there any new seasons after the Settlers of Kabul that I did miss? I didn't feel there was. Bye-bye, Miko. Well, I liked PoE 2 until they forced me to do this weird game mode to ascend my class. That really pissed me off hard. I hated the game mode so thoroughly. It was that one game mode that I totally didn't want to play in PoE 1. I was happy that it was optional there, and there, boom. You need to play this. Just ascend you. No. Go away. Just go away. I hate this decision so much. That was the moment where I was saying okay to myself and slowly start walking away from the game, because that was just such a BS decision to me. I don't know. When was PoE 1 released? Oof. Easily 15 years ago? I don't know. It's been a long time though. Yeah. It's sort of sad that so many sequels of bigger things just stink, while the sequels of smaller things just are amazing. But there seems to be a middle ground where corporate BS and allocation of resources find a sweet spot where things are just amazing. Take, for example, games like Age of Wonders 4. It's part 4 of a franchise. Okay, some people say that it is that it's worse than its predecessors, but it is a continuation of a franchise that's actually working out in a way that I am also backing it and playing the hell out of it and can't wait for the next DLC. And the game gets meaningfully expanded and updated and bettered during the whole time. Age of Wonders 4 is a much better game than it was during release. It's amazing. Yeah, the essentials behind the trials, that was just one of the most questionable decisions that I found. And the smart thing to do would be just to take it away and be a gentleman about it and just shrug your shoulders and say, yeah, we thought it was a nice idea. We were wrong. Here you go, buddies. But I expect the ego of grinding gear games is larger than that. I'm afraid, at least, it is. But I gotta say, ever since Dungeon Siege 3, that was barely not Dungeon Siege anymore. Yeah, it was a really, really horrible bait and switch. Totally agree there, Hjoran. Totally agree there. And there we go. Arapuka. Why do I get so many upgrades for my Shadow Dome? I don't want these. Give me something that I want. Ugh. Oh. Yeah, well, I don't know. Ever since there has been this weird trend where gaming had to do something with representing your manliness by playing as hard and difficult and horrible as possible, I feel like a certain couple of games took a downward turn. You know, I don't want to say that Dark Souls is to blame for that, because in all honesty, they ain't. They are just great games. But the communities behind FromSoft slowly turned it into some rite of passage, where if you are unable to bear with the tedium, you are just not a real gamer and you need to get good scrub. I despise everything about this so much, because games are supposed to be fun and entertaining, and not a trial of your nerves and whatnot. I don't know. That's really, really weird. This is something that I've been seeing so much ever since Dark Souls and Elden Ring were big hits. This movement has encroached on so many genres where people mistake challenge for fun. Challenge is not automatically fun.
This is very personal.
Thanks, Ash. That's so nice. Challenge is not automatically fun. It has to be turned into be fun. The challenge is not automatically fun by itself. And that is where people, or some game studios, try to replicate the FromSoft formula in the wrong way. Because in all honesty, in games like Elden Ring and Dark Souls, you always get some sort of a reward for the challenge. And the whole game is balanced around this satisfying feeling when you finally downed that MF. So you really gotta carefully weigh what you're doing, and I've seen a flock of games that are just plain out annoying and like, yeah, it's challenging, you scrub. You're just not good enough of a gamer to know what's good for you. Yeah, if you say so. Monster Hunter? Yeah, okay. Never played that, but you see that trend in many communities. It is... Ultimately, I've seen that kind of movement the first time when I was playing League of Legends, basically. There's been always these kinds of gamers around, way before the things that I was stating here, I bet. But, yeah. My verdict remains, games are supposed to be fun. And it's okay if the fun is sometimes making you a little bit mad, sometimes getting you to the point where you are a little bit excited and even shouty, but it shouldn't be constantly getting on your nerves. Then I feel like something is happening in the wrong direction. At least that's my opinion. There you go, stinky dog! Why is Stinky Dog so amazingly tanky? Yeah, considering for how deadly these AoE fields are, they are really not very visible. So... what did I say about League? I just said that I played it a lot and for a pretty long time. That's what I tried to get down to. And that they have that get good mentality as well. In a very, very strong way. Alrighty. Yeah. With the recent upgrades, this character feels a lot better. Yeah, what damage is good. Ooh. Satisfying. Yeah, we're totally ripping it here. That was great. Mr. Padius, you are an amazingly kind person, and I am out of words. Thank you. You literally made my day. That is such a good... Wow. Thank you. Just thank you. Okay. This is, Thanks for watching my videos, and, for being an amazing person overall. Praise be your generosity. Alrighty. So... Dota 2 is also something that I just didn't get into so far, sadly. Will Paint Factory, if it's worth anything, I did play only my own builds, and I was resigning a moment before I started to have to farm the Uber bosses, or how they are called. I think the I don't know how they are called anymore, but the last boss before you have to repeat them all as a worse version of themselves in the Atlas. That's where I dropped it out with my own. At the end of the day, I did a Bonebreaker iteration. Started out with Whirlwind and did several other things. It was a duelist, melee duelist, mind you. So yeah, but I get you. Just copy pastaing the things out of the internet didn't kill it for me either. But yeah, I never had it in me to make guides for that so other people could copy pasta my builds. Because I feel like with games like Path of Exile, you really have to work with what you got and what you want to play. And then you work your way there and get better at it and whatnot. I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you, Pain Factory. It is really like that. You either play Dota or you play League of Legends. I rarely see people going both ways. It's really like that. You have a point there, which is quite amazing, but it's true. But I mean, the enshittification of League of Legends has reached points where the game is basically indigestible at this point. So we rather change the topic before I spend the next 30 minutes ranting. So, the matriarch. It's a great insect, isn't it? It's large, it's scaly, it spits things. Oh, never mind. Alrighty. Yikes! These deadly AoE fields every time. They, So, lingering damage over time effects really could use a little bit more accentuation in this game. This verdict remains among all what I see here. I mean, this guy's stuff is at least better visible, yeah. But I would love a unified red color coding like many games do it, where there's just a red tint on where you're not allowed to stay on the ground, to not have any false impressions there. Yorin, well put. I also spend most of my time with tinkering around my own build in ARPGs because I'm like you, thinking that this is basically the most fun. I would even go as far as to say informational content should rather give people ideas about what things work well together with what, instead of just giving a copy pasta build. Because why is that copy pasta build bad? Because you won't have the same items as the person that built the stuff, and then you're forced to buy the same items as the other person has, which means you're just starting to farm to get to a point where you start playing the game instead of playing the game and using your own imagination and enjoying what you're doing. Now you're grinding currency to play the game. Yeah, it is a really slippery slope. And before you know it, you will hate your time spent with the game and be thinking that ARPGs, they're all about grind and not about fun. Sure, but it's what we make out of the grind. Welcome back, poet. It's a lot of projectiles. I hope I just don't die suddenly. Oh yeah, cooldown reduction on this one is really cool. It's my main skill after all. My main skill, but the sphere here is really extremely useful. wish I would have the money for that. Good night, Wonko. Thanks for being around. Over here, it's a bit before 5 in the afternoon, but I know that feeling. Playing in the middle of the night and needing to get to sleep. We've all been there. Have a good one, Wonko. Thanks for the company. Appreciate it. So yeah, the cooldown now's low enough that I can spam several of these domes into one another. Great. I mean, the always different upgrades that you get per run on your skills, I gotta say this is a very, very entertaining system indeed. But I do notice that I am much more resilient in these areas of the game right now. But that's not much of a big surprise. The fact that I'm not getting slowed down by attacking is just a huge advantage. Which results clearly in getting hit less. Yeah, at this point I should really consider a different skill here rather than split shot, because I'm using split shot so rarely that it's basically become a waste of skill points here. Should rather take the other skill which gives me a shield over that. Hello, Spoopy boy. Yeah, that movement bonus was all it took. But I'm still not dealing enough damage. Really gotta work those rookie numbers. Ugh. Close to surrendering, but I'm too greedy for the reward. There's even a tip in the loading screens saying that if a boss fight takes too long, it's a sign that you should return to town to become stronger. But I don't think that I want to return to town while my reward ain't gathered yet. What a weird tip, eh? It is clear that I can face tank the boy by now. go. So... yeah, I get you, Pain Factory. Reducing the drop pool is not a bad thing at all. Okay, let's see if I explode instantaneously again or not. Only because the boss didn't die in a agreeable pace doesn't mean that I want to give up here right like that. We could find some big bad relics or something like that that we can't take into the next run, you see? Well, to me, Pain Factory, it is like, if my skill slots are unused, I need to find a skill that makes sense in what I'm doing. Otherwise, the skill is useless and should be replaced. You can sometimes spend like 20 hours to find that one skill that goes into that slot, but I am quite relentless in that regard. Yeah, Hjorn, I can't stay that much longer either. I need to make some food myself too. Haven't eaten anything substantial here in this day either. Don't know what to cook for myself. But I feel like making some real food, you see. Surely understand what I mean. But yeah, my verdict stands. If you like ARPGs and you got 20 bucks to spare and you got an itch to fulfill, this game is probably just right up your alley. Since Steam allows you to refund things during the first 2 hours, I think this, if you like ARPGs, it's really worth a shot. Yeah, I'm not dealing enough damage anymore. This is another thing that I feel like would be cool, if the affixes of the enemies, like swift and possessed and whatnot, would be explained what they do. It seems as if possessed enemies are featuring extraordinarily much HP. Wow. So, yeah. The DPS isn't there, but the survivability surely is. We're not killing stuff fast enough, but we surely are surviving.
I reckon the fortune's on our side.
Oh, chest. Ah, yeah, these nests. This was where I died the last time, wasn't it? Yeah, the extra speed just makes such a big difference. I think this mob group was it which killed me the last time, which I just passed. Not gonna lie, the longer I play it, the more fun it is. Ooh, oh, it's not an upgrade. No! More life is an upgrade, though.
I'm grateful for this.
So I am surprisingly long-lasting here. Ooh, 2 of these nests. Okay, so far so good. I'm running out of time though. Good thing that I did spend my mandatory time upgrade points. Thing that really bothers me. But whatever it is. Oh. Alright, these are getting really substantially better. It took me a while to understand that you first buy the common, and then they succeedingly get better. Okay. This thing will kill me, I bet. Oh, Flammkuchen. Dang. My wife would be immediately coming by for a visit. Me too. Oh.
I was never one of you. I have never slain the
Right. I think this is the ending of Act 1 if I am able to make it. But sadly, his health bar is barely moving. But his health bar is moving fast enough for me to not give up and still give it my best. Because unless they built in cheesy kill me fast enough mechanics, we can win this way. Kill me fast enough mechanics are, for example, puddles of AoE that don't go away until you've killed the boss. Yeah, this is so far going quite well, except for the head cutter not dying fast enough for it. The mobility I got is more than enough to circumvent his attacks so far. But here again, I gotta say, the visuals are really amazing. This looks like a demon of modern warfare, and I love it. The visual, the artist's vision here is really great. It's one of the things that really stands out in Health Block for me. Okay, fresh nests. I probably should skip and not be that stubborn here and try killing the guy with that low DPS, but at the same time I want to. Yeah, getting closer to the 50% mark. Pretty sure he will bring up some nasty tricks after that. I'm very sorry I can't read the YouTube chat right now, because I need to tap out of the game for that. Let's not stand there. Alright, 50% mark. I bet this guy is now showing us some new tricks. gotta say, the life leech on my whirlwind by now is really mighty. Guy just doesn't wanna die. I don't know why, but my cat loves begging for food when I'm in a boss fight. She didn't do while I was doing the levels, when things were low pressure and I wasn't minding losing. She's a real devil. Yeah, you. Ah. Yeah, that's me, being stubborn. Cutting down what's not meant to be cut down. My favorite pastime school. In all seriousness, I love finding enemies that the game doesn't mean you to kill and devising ways to kill them. Something in my brain gets provoked when the game tells me that this NPC isn't meant to be killed, but his health bar is still moving. This is when things in my brain get shifting. Sorry for the tedium, friends. We almost got him down. Okay, despite all my expectations, this one boss didn't get a single new move in the longer run at all. Interesting. So. Okay. We did it. But sadly, I didn't really get a new skill that I wanted, a new item that I wanted to have. I did it! So, my good friends, I'm gonna tune out for this stream. I feel like that's a good point to say goodbye for now. Many thanks for the good company and the generosity of yours. There's a Ko-fi link in the description box in the chat if you feel like supporting my work. There's a good spot which doesn't take much money in terms of fees and whatnot. So anyways, thanks you guys. It's been a great time. I hope that I'll make it later tonight for another Rimworld Odyssey stream. Catch you